This is a Kershaw Launch 9, Kershaw's latest California legal auto. Of course, when we say California legal auto, we mean an automatic knife with a blade of less than 2 inches because the blade has to be less than 2 inches to be legal for carry in California. For comparison, I have a Boker Mini Kalashnikov here, the D2 blade version. Excuse me. I'll put that back in the screen. Here we go. As you can see, the Boker is a little bit shorter, but has a thicker handle on it. The Kershaw has a 1.8-inch blade. The overall length is 5 inches, and it actually is not a bad little knife to carry, even though I have pretty big hands. As you can see, the knife, fits very easily in the palm of my hand. But it's also pretty easy to carry. As you can see, it has jumping here on the back, and it's pretty comfortable to carry. These are $89, I believe, and I have to say, I think that in terms of bang for the buck, Kershaw is definitely the best American maker out there. I mean, obviously with auto laws the way they are, all autos in America are American made, or at least they are turned into autos in America. I know, like, for instance, like the Boker, it's actually, the knife is made in Taiwan, but it's converted into an auto in the United States. But yeah, I think this is the best in terms of practicality. If you look at the drop point blade, if you look at the very thin grind of the blade, I mean, the actual edge is very thin. It's flat ground. The back of the blade is pretty thick, gives it some strength. Comes to a very fine point. But the edge itself is a very thin, flat grind. Very, very sharp. Of course, this is 154 cm. Like I said, there must be some government regulation somewhere saying autos need to be 154 cm, because so many autos are 154 cm. It's really kind of odd. As you can see, I actually got a little nick in this already from having it in my pocket, but this is a user. It's not a safe queen. I mean, I like these tiny little autos because I think that they're practical users. I mean, they're probably about as non-threatening as an auto is going to be. I think if you have an auto, I mean, they pop open, they make the little noise. People who are not real comfortable with knives are going to be a bit intimidated by it. But, as I always say, I don't pull out my knives, just for the heck of it. I mean, a knife is a tool, and if I'm out someplace where people might see me, the only reason the knife is going to come out is if I actually have to use it. I'm not going to be flipping it and popping it around just for the heck of it, because that would draw attention that I do not want. But yeah, I really think the Kershaw Launch 9, it reminds me a lot of some of the Pro-Techs. Except for, I think Kershaw's, frankly, this particular Kershaw in particular. Now, the Launch 10 with the Hawk build is a nice little knife too, but I think the drop point is a more practical knife for what people tend to do with knives. And I think that this is probably the most bang for the buck in terms of California size autos you can get. And as I said before, I think this compares very, very favorably with anything from Pro-Tech. And I would not hesitate to recommend this. If you're looking for a California size auto, I just think this is the best one I've seen so far. And the grind of the blade, the sharpness that came from the store, from the factory, everything is really great on it. And it's a great watch pocket size knife. Now, because it does not have a safety, I really recommend a knife like this for watch pocket carry. Um, if you're going to have it in a regular pocket, you probably don't need to have anything other than like a license in your pocket. If you have keys or anything like that, there's a real good chance it can pop into the button. The knife could open in your pocket, and you could really get a nasty cut if you just went into your pocket, you're going into your pocket without thinking about the possibility there's a sharp knife in there. And so, if you have a watch pocket, if you have, for instance, a shirt with a breast pocket, I mean, any place like that would be a good place to carry it. So you wouldn't have to worry about the button bumping into something and popping open and stabbing you, or cutting yourself when you go reach for it. I mean, I do like safeties on knives, but apparently a lot of people just don't want to. A lot of companies don't want to put safeties on the knives these days, and you just have to deal with it. Now, of course, the other good option, if you get a knife, is out the front. Those are much easier. They're much harder to open, and I'd say probably my favorite small out the front is the Heretic Knives Manticore S, but that's about 2.5, almost 2.6 inch blade, so it's not California legal. So if you really wanted a very, very small auto, out the sides are the best option. And of those options, as I said before, I think the Launch 9 is the best option at any price for a California size auto. And so, if you can legally have one and a small auto like this interests you, I strongly recommend that you get one. Take care.